The Elves and the Shoemaker. The shoemaker, through no fault of his own, became so poor that in the end all he had left was the leather for one pair of shoes. In the evening, he cut out the shoes he wished to begin making the next morning, and since he had a good conscience, he quietly lay down in his bed, surrendered himself to God, and fell asleep. In the morning, after he had said his prayers and was about to sit down to work, the two shoes were standing on his table completely finished. He was surprised and did not know what to say to him. He took the shoe into his hands to observe it closely. It was so meticulously made that there was not a single bad stitch on it, as if it was meant to be a masterpiece. Soon after, a buyer came, and since he liked the shoes so much, he paid more for them than he was wont to do, and with the money, the shoemaker was able to buy leather for 2 pairs of shoes. He cut it off in the night, and next morning he was about to set to work with new courage, but he didn't need to do that, because when he got up, it was already made, and neither were the buyers, who gave him enough money to buy leather for 4 pairs of shoes. The next morning also, he found the 4 pairs made, and so it went on, for what he cut off in the evening was finished by the morning, and he soon gained his honest independence again, and at last became a rich man. It happened one evening shortly before Christmas, when the man was cutting up his body, and he said to his wife, before going to bed, "How about we stay up tonight to see who it is? Extend us this helping hand?" The woman liked the idea, lit a candle, and then they hid in the corner of the room, behind some clothes that were hanging there, and watched. When it was midnight, 2 little naked men came and sat down by the shoemaker's table, and taking up all the work that had been cut before them, they began to sew and hammer very skillfully and quickly with their tools. The little fingers from which the shoemaker could not turn his eyes away from amazement. They didn't stop until it was all over, stood on the table, and then quickly ran away. The next morning the woman said, "The little men have made us rich, and we should really show that we are grateful for it. They're running like this, not wearing anything, and they must be cold. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll make them little shirts, coats, jackets, and trousers, and knit a pair of stockings for them both, and you also make them 2 little pairs of shoes." "I'll be very happy to do that," said the man, and one night, when everything was ready, they put their gifts together on the table instead of the cut work, and then hid themselves to see how the little men would behave. At midnight, they came running up and wanted to go to work at once, but as they found no pieces of leather, but only pretty little pieces of clothing, they were astonished at first, and then showed great joy. They dressed very quickly, put on beautiful clothes, and sang, "Now we are very good boys to see. Why should we be cobblers any longer?" Then they danced, jumped over chairs and benches. Finally they danced out the doors. Since then they have come no more, but throughout the shoemaker's life all was well with him, and all his enterprises flourished.